Lethal alleles. These alleles will cause the lethal alleles. These alleles will cause the affected member to suffer if the member carries it. Means there are couple of genes or a gene which cause abnormalities in organisms which carries it. This expression of these genes or alleles leads to the loss of an individual, cause death of organism which inherited a pure dominant, or in some cases when it is recessive. So when it's hybrid, show it affect all the organism sometimes if it is dominant, and also cause death of organism in case of purity. Sickle cell anemia. This genetic disease is caused by allele mutant recessive hemoglobin S, affect the quality of hemoglobin. So the gene cause what? Abnormality in hemoglobin. So hemoglobin causes abnormality on the shape of cell it contains, which is red blood cell. It becomes some kind of abnormal type like hemoglobin S. Also affect the shape of red blood cells, and they become not disc shape but side shape instead of the normal disc shape. It's clear that this deadly allele, which causes death of organism, becomes a multi-effective. So it has more effect than only the shape of the cell, but also cause abnormalities in functioning of red blood cells. The table showing the genotype and phenotype of the offspring resulting from mating between parents, both for the site anemia. So the pure normal hemoglobin organism, okay, normal. The hybrid organism carries the abnormal or lethal allele hemoglobin S, but does not show it on its phenotype. So this kind of organism, we call them carrier. They only carries the gene, but not show its effects. But the recessive alleles show their effect in case of purity, and organism dies after adolescence. Another example for lethal alleles, dominant allele for creeping chicken. This type of chicken appears if they having the dominant lethal allele, capital C, together with normal allele, small c. The chicken cannot walk normally because of the short and with twisting legs. So the hybrid organism with capital A small not cause death of organism, but cause abnormality like short and twisting legs. But when the individual is pure with capital C, organism usually die. So in this example, a creepy chicken mated with another creepy rooster. They produce gametes, but in F generation, the capital pure dominant organism will die, while the hybrids show some abnormalities like short and twisting legs, creeping, but the pure recessive organism is ordinary. Another example, dominant allele for yellow mice. These are similar to previous case, which is creepy chicken. When yellow hybrid mice are mated with each other, result is two yellow mice mated with one another. The result is quarter of yellow embryos will die because they have capital lethal allele. That is pure in deadly allele capital Y, which leads to phenotypic modulation ratio 3:1, 1, 2, and 3 yellow and 1 gray color. And from this 3 yellow color, 2 of them hybrid, 1 and 2 of them hybrid, while 1 of them pure. So the yellow mice are always hybrid. Means living yellow mice must be hybrid because the pure one dies. Any carrier of the gene is not affected by it. The killing gene, lethal allele, is important in designing some genetic tests. So in the following diagram, also show the mating between two hybrid members of this kind of lethal allele. hybrid and hybrid mice produce gametes mated with one another, and as a result, one yellow dye, one of four, two organisms yellow while living. The abnormality for about this gene is first the color of fur in mice, and 1/4 normal gray-colored mice. From the chapter question 8. In yellow mice, capital Y, small y, because yellow living mice must be hybrid. Why? Because the pure dominant dyes and the pure recessive are gray color. Allele, capital Y, will be lethal allele. When the internal marriage takes place between those and two yellow mice are crossed with one another, parents, yellow mice must be hybrid, produce gametes, Y capital, Y small, Y capital, Y small, and F generation, capital Y, which yellow color dead mice. Capital Y, capital Y, small y, yellow color but living mice, and small y, pure gray color normal mice. Explain the phenotype for all living individuals. So, yellow mice die. So 1/4 yellow by dead mice, 1/2 living yellow mice, 1/4 is gray colored mice. Again, from the chapter questions, question 9. It looked like a different question, but when we read the question, we understand it are about the lethal alleles. A marriage took place between Mexican dogs with normal hair dog with another dog have no hair. These are parents, gametes, F generation. Half of the first generation individuals were with normal hair, the other half is no hair. Normal hair dog, 1/2, no hair dog, also 1/2. When marriage took place between dogs with no hair dog mated with another no hair dog, parents produce gametes, fertilization form filial generation. The ratio of filial generation 1/4 normal hair, 1/2 no hair, and 1/4 no hair dead. So when we say no hair dead, we know it's a question about lethal alleles. And there are organisms with effect but living. We understand the lethal allele is dominant. So dominant lethal allele causes death of organism when it's pure. So the dog with no hair and dead, we show them with capital H, capital H. Dog living with no hair must be hybrid, and normal hairy dogs, small h and small h. So explain this result, we tried a session cross. So normal hair dog, small and small. Dog with no hair but living, capital H, small h. They produce gametes. So fertilization, small h and small h with normal hair. So capital H and small h, no hair but living dog. In second case, when two no hair dog are crossed with one another, no hair dog in genotype hybrid produce two different gametes, each of them, and by fertilization, one pure recessive with normal hair, two hybrid with hair but living, and one pure dominant no hair dead dog is created. Penetrance and expressivity. Expressivity about gene expression, how genes work and show their effects on phenotype of organism. Penetrance gene first. This is the probability of an individual receive these alleles about the certain traits or abnormality from the parents and possess the phenotypic trait, show the effect of this gene on their phenotype which related to this allele. For example, recessive allele that cause cystic fibrosis disease, which are disease about lungs, respiratory disease, with complete percentage of 100% pure individuals have the disease. So the organism or people which suffer from cystic fibrosis disease, they need to have pure recessive alleles, as well as the dominant allele which acquire or cause extra fingers in organism, because dominant show its effect not only if they are pure, in hybrid cases too. So in hybrid cases, they can show their effects in different percentages, maybe incomplete percentage. This is because some individuals with inherited allele have 10 normal fingers, while when it's pure recessive. But in dominance case, they have some fingers, more than 10. The expressive. It means an allele could produce a heterogeneous range of phenotypic types. So same allele in different organisms can show its effects in different ratios. An example of this is pure insect for the recessive gene for the mutation of Alleles, which give phenotype with various range between existence of ordinary eye to partial loss in the eye size or of one eye or both eyes. So the gene expression can be different in different organisms. Genetics and the environment. Each living thing has its own traits which are inherited from the parents. So as we study until now, the phenotype of organism 100% related or depend on its genotype. But now we can see there are some differences. It can be identified phenotypic traits through the study of parents and analyze their genes. However, this determination cannot be accurate because the genes only determine what could be the object and not really what will be. So we cannot be sure about the phenotype of organism by determination or knowing the phenotype or genotype of their parents, because some phenotypic traits depend on genetics and also environment. So knowing the genetics is not enough to be sure about the phenotype of organism for some certain traits. There are a number of cases show that the effect of genes determined by the various environmental factors. Whether these factors surrounding the mother organism or inside her. To clarify this, we give some examples. Example 1. Genes responsible of the human body are affected by the quality of his food. So, many people have gene about fat. So, these people who have genetic codes about fatness, they have tendency to be fat. But by controlling their diet, they can have slim body. Or the people who have the genetic base of slim characters, by eating too much carbohydrates or fat, they can gain body weight. So controlling the body weight greatly influenced by amount of food and some other environmental factors. Example 2. The impact of the environmental quality of the food as the gene responsible for the color of fat in rabbits. Building yellow fat in rabbits depend on the recessive gene. So this gene causes building of yellow or white fat. The normal color of fat in animals is white. Note that rabbits carrying this gene suffer from lack of enzymatic reaction, thus become unable to demolish the yellow color. They are not unable to digest or break down yellow color in food which they eat, like in carrots or in other plants. So when those rabbits feed on plants containing the yellow color, then the color will appear on their fat. So when they eat food in yellow color, so this color has to their fat. Why? Because they have no enzymatic reaction to break down this color. If this rabbit feed with colorless plants like white cabbage, then their fat will of course be white. Although the gene y small has not changed, only the food has changed. So the rabbits which have recessive genes, they are unable to break down the color in food and the color of their fat, which is a phenotypic trait, change according to what kind of food, which is environmental factor. The other rabbits that do not carry the pure gene of yellow, but they carry what? Pure dominant or hybrid. They have ability to partition, digest the yellow color. Thus, they will have white fat, even though they feed on diet which rich in yellow color.